Welcome back to the Ranking of Naruto Games! The show where I play and rank every single Naruto game that came out in the West. It's been a while, hasn't it? But I couldn't let you guys live out the holidays without an episode of the ranking. And today I bring you a gift that I didn't know was coming. In this episode, we're gonna rank a game that no one was talking about in the comments, and I really think it might be the most underrated Naruto game. This was a fantastic journey. The last Naruto game that came out on the 3DS, it's a 2D beat 'em up inspired by the Rock Lee spin-off, so it utilizes the chibi art style and the whole thing is just very humorous. This is by far the funniest Naruto game I've ever played. Sasuke, you've already taken out Itachi, right? Why won't you leave it now and come back? Itachi was being used by the Leaf Village. Toby told me everything about the appalling Anbu working conditions. That working 20 hours in a day was normal, with no overtime pay, no union, no bonuses. By the time I came to fight Itachi, he had already been totally worn down, broken long ago by his slave-driving masters. I think the masked man's lying to you. By comparison, just look at the Akatsuki. They promise 500% interest per annum on your initial investment. This is in the game. I mean, I had to voice it because the game isn't voiced, but this is the actual game's writing. The story covers some of the Shippuden arcs, starting with Naruto getting back to the village, all the way to fighting Sasuke after he defeated Itachi, with the post-credits going into the training section with Killer Bee, so a decent chunk of the story. But it's not like you'll be reliving the whole story, it's a very abridged version, and completely rewritten in a comedic style. When training against Kakashi to get the bells, once you're done with the mission, he mentions having developed a new technique. Now, we Naruto fans know that he's talking about the Kamui, but Naruto imagines a whole other thing. Let's just say that's probably not Kakashi's new jutsu. You travel to the sand and defeat Deidara to rescue Gaara, who, as it turns out, was just taking a nap the whole time. He's been so busy with Kazekage work that he only got 2 hours of sleep last night.
Do you know how hard it is to go through the day with only 2 hours of sleep?
And then Pain goes and destroys the Leaf Village, and you know what? You're not ready for Pain. Not yet. Now, since this is based on the Rock Lee spin-off, you don't just play as Naruto, you also play as Rock Lee. Each character has their own board where each space is a level, and sometimes the next level will be locked. So you need to jump between the two boards to grab some keys so you can unlock the next mission. Rock Lee's story barely touches the Shippuden canon. It happens in parallel, and it's much more of an original story, if you can even call it that. Each mission feels like its own separate skit. For instance, Tenten is upset by something. Rock Lee assumes that she's having love problems, and assumes that she's in love with Guy Sensei. A horrible picture that none of us needed to see. The combat is very decent for a game of this genre. There are 2 attack buttons so you can create combos. You have attacks on the ground, attacks in the air. You can dash either for movement or to cancel attack buttons and extend combos that way. And you have your ultimates too. The whole thing feels very fluid. Rock Lee also has the 8 gates mode pretty much from the start of the game, while Naruto gets his Sage mode towards the late game. And I cannot believe that they actually put QB mode in, but only after the credits. It plays so different. I mean, look at Naruto zooming around, but yeah, this is post-game content. How insane is that? You unlock assists as you play. Some are tied to the Shippuden story. For instance, you get Sai and Yamato when you go to the Tenchi Bridge mission, where Sai betrays you and gives Danzo's love letter to Orochimaru, and others you just unlock by getting experience. The missions themselves are pretty straightforward. You either beat waves of enemies, stop them from crossing a line. There are also side-scrolling levels where you gotta get to the finish line before the time runs out, and you have a decent number of boss fights as well. Though in my opinion, the combat system doesn't really provide for great boss battles. But there are some good attempts at mission variety. In the end though, there's still a lot of repetition, unfortunately. Beating these missions gives you experience. It may also unlock some new abilities for both Rock Lee and Naruto. Some will be actual ultimates, others will probably be jokes, like Lee throwing his eyebrows instead of shuriken. They even explain how it works. Lee is using the 8 gates to grow his eyebrows even faster so he can then rip them out and throw them at the enemies. Game takes about 6 hours to roll credits on both Naruto and Rock Lee's boards, with another 2 hours of post-game content complete with an endless mode and a boss fight rush on top of that. And I'd say that's plenty of content for the 3DS game. This is hands down the funniest Naruto game I've ever played, and I've played almost all of them. Combat is decent and there are some fun and unique levels. That said, it's still slightly repetitive and the boss fights are not very fun with this combat system. Oh right, Pain. Your history, Pain! But the Leaf Village is no more. I have an idea. Leave everything to me.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Something appeared. Who is this? This is an acquaintance of mine, Mr. Demon. You finally crossed the line in terms of ignoring the source material. Surely!
Make your wish, whatever it is, I shall make it come true.
Put the Hidden Leaf Village back to how it was before.
No trouble at all. There. Anyone can make a wish, I presume. Then destroy the Hidden Leaf Village. There.
No, do what I say. Put it back.
I can do this forever. forever. Destroy the Leaf Village.
Put the village back!
Time for a different tactic. Demon, give me your powers.
Pain disappeared?
Because he took on my powers, he has been sent to the Demon Dispatch Agency. There, he will work forever for the agency, being dispatched wherever they see fit.
And that's how Konoha got saved from pain. How can you not love this? B rank. The game itself isn't anything special, but this writing alone deserves its own award. It's a game that goes for funny and nails it. Do you know how hard that is? And at the same time, it's not bad at everything else, it's just decent. No regrets, this is a very good game. This next one is not a good game. I've been looking forward to this one because apparently a lot of people played it. This is Naruto Shippuden Kizuna Drive. Why is it so popular? It's really bad. I'm gonna need my gamer subs to keep me awake for this one. If you want to know why, check the link in the description. Basically, it is a 3D beat 'em up where you have two attack buttons. One of them punches and the other one throws jutsu. Depending on where you throw the jutsu in your combo, it might be a different jutsu. So at first, it kinda sounds like Ultimate Ninja Impact, except you don't have any of the cool launchers or ground bounces. The most you can do is splat an opponent into a wall to extend a combo. And it all feels so janky, it's not satisfying to pull any of these off. Even the attack animations don't look great. Pair that up with clunky movement and the whole thing just feels bad. There's no block button, all you can do defensively is to try to dodge around. There's a jump button that is incredibly useless. And the reason why there's not a lot of buttons for a lot of functions is because both shoulder buttons are dedicated to the camera. And let me tell you, moving around while panning the camera with the shoulder buttons is very uncomfortable. The game doesn't even have a lock-on system. Now, you don't just play as Naruto, there's a decent number of playable characters, but if you pick Sakura, for instance, instead of a combo, she only does 2 punches. She feels like an unfinished character, and she's not the only one that feels that way. The game has a unique mechanic, which the game is titled after, and that's the Kizuna Drive, which you can see at the top of the screen. As you defeat enemies, the drive fills up, and if you finish a mission with a full drive, you get more rewards by the end of it. This drive is used whenever you want to revive a teammate, and the best way to increase it is by stunning an enemy and going into this Naruto Pong minigame, where you just bounce an enemy between your buddies. It's hilarious. But it's also the reason why I quit this game before I finished it. In this entire ranking, there's only been one game so far that I have refused to finish, and that was Ninja Council 3. Kizuna Drive is the second game in this entire ranking where I'm simply saying no, I'm not doing this, and here's why. When you launch the game, you get two options. You can play scenario missions, which is story mode, or free missions that work as side missions with different objectives. But this is a game built for co-op. Difficulty-wise, it does not adjust to you playing solo, it's always 4-player difficulty, which means to beat story missions, you actually have to grind free missions so you can get better scrolls. There's no level up system in this game, all you have are these scrolls with passive effects. You equip the scrolls on your characters and that's how you get more health or more damage, for instance. I was stuck in a story mission that had me fight against a Shukaku, but as you can see, I was simply not dealing enough damage. That health bar is barely moving no matter where I throw at it. This means that I need better scrolls, so I started grinding free missions until I reached this one where the objective is to fill up your Kizuna Drive. I cannot fill up my Kizuna Drive if my AI companions keep dying. Without my entire team alive, I cannot go into this ping pong minigame, which is the best way to increase the Kizuna Drive. So if one of them falls, I have to revive them, and if I revive them, I am spending that resource. They keep dying to the dumbest shit imaginable. They will simply not dodge enemy attacks. So I played this mission like 3 different times and I quit. I knew this was the first of many problems, of many barriers that I was gonna run into with this game. It's a game that wants you to grind these free missions, this mode that looks like side content, for you to beat the actual story missions. Pair that up with the actual gameplay not being fun, and I simply didn't want to go through them. But in the ranking of Naruto games, we have to be fair, and we have to look at all the aspects that a game brings. And there's a chance that the story of this game might be able to save it. So I looked up the entire story on YouTube. I really like the cutscenes in this game. They are mostly still images, but the effects they gave these images make the cutscenes feel exciting. Unlike the effects during gameplay, which are completely out of balance, like why do these dogs bark so much louder than any other sound in the game? The story starts with Naruto slapping a tag on his face, transforming into the Ninetales, and destroying the hidden Dream Village. Now, obviously, we know something's wrong because Naruto wouldn't just do that. But the plot revolves around the hidden Dream Village wanting revenge on Konoha. And I say let them have it, because they have the coolest ninja headbands I have ever seen in this universe. So is the story good? It's okay. There is actually a very cool twist. When the villain is revealed, I totally did not see that coming. But it also leans on a lot of the same themes we've seen over and over in Naruto Naruto stories, especially filler, stuff like the villain saying your bonds are your weakness and Naruto going no, they're the thing that give me strength. So it's not an awesome story, but it did have its moments. This is a bad game with an alright story. They didn't adjust the difficulty for solo play, which made the optional side missions something you have to get through. And with the AI being as bad as it is, it's an absolute nightmare. And I would actually be willing to power through it if the combat was good, but even that part of the game sucks. This is gonna be an E rank, right above Ultimate Ninja Heroes, but I don't think it's better than Naruto Shippuden Ninja Destiny 2, so it's pretty bad. But on the bright side, this means that we're almost done. Only one episode of the ranking left to go. So happy holidays everyone, we will conclude this series in early 2022. And as always, thank you very much for watching, my name's Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye!